You know what's crazy? Before I even start this video, all right, when I tell you he's Darth Vader, all right, he's Darth Vader, all right. And the reason I say that is because to some extent he will ensure that I'm doing shit the way I'm supposed to do it, along with me making sure he's doing shit the way he's supposed to do it. But the funny thing here is that it's like no coincidence how there'll be moments where certain things happen that I may have done or I may be doing, okay, that are kind of distracting me and taking me away from my attention, and he'll do something to kind of, you know, test me a little bit. So what he did, and he never does this, but he'll only do it at specific times. And if you're paying attention to these little details, you'll be like, yo, really is Darth Vader. And I mean, he does shit like literally tilt the garbage over. He won't eat anything in the garbage, but he will spread whatever is in the garbage all over my kitchen. He won't just tip the garbage over. He will straight up have a party in my kitchen. Now, the crazy thing is, it's up to me whether I get really, really mad at him. Sometimes even maybe get a newspaper and you know, whack him with it. But then again, okay, there's a reason why he did that. Now, me getting angry would feed my attention to that, not instead of just putting my attention now toward why that even happened. Don't think that everything out here, there's a happening all the time. Everything is happening. Now, here's all that to say this. All right, we're here. And I'm going to make my next video, I'm going to decode the movie The Karate Kid. Okay, because I'm going to tell you right now, I've always been a huge Karate Kid fan. I love the movie Karate Kid, and the new Cobra Kai seasons that are on Netflix, not Netflix, yeah, I think it's on Netflix or on YouTube. I've been watching them on YouTube though. You know, I watched season 1 and 2. Season 3 is supposed to be coming out soon. But what I love about Cobra Kai, those seasons, that all the characters from the original Karate Kid movies are in the new Karate Kid seasons, the Cobra Kai seasons. Amazing. So I happened to watch the movie The Karate Kid, which none of my family members saw The Karate Kid at all. And I was super excited to watch it. You know what's funny is that within the first 30 minutes, everybody fell asleep. I was the only one awake. All right? I did not give two shits, because I'll tell you right now, I was watching this movie through a different lens. And I will tell you right now, I just realized why I love The Karate Kid so much. I realized why I love The Karate Kid so much, and it actually meant so much to me. And, you know, if you're watching it through a different lens with a different type of awareness, man, are there gems and jewels in that movie. Along with many other movies that I watched from the 80s and 90s. All right? Movies that people don't even, like, know about. All right? It's not just about getting these gems from, like, new movies. You get these gems from, like, the older movies. Big time, bro. I'm talking about movies like The Never-Ending Story. Flight of the Navigator, all right, and Flight of the Navigator happens to be an old ass Disney movie, but it's not a cartoon. It's a you know, a regular movie, but it's a Disney movie, and a lot of gems in that movie. Now, if you look at the movie The Never-Ending Story, all right, this video is actually inspired by you know, I'm going through you know, some YouTube things here. I've been off you. As a matter of fact, I've been a little bit busy because of the holidays and stuff like that. Real busy with family members, and I'm gonna, you know, I got a lot to talk about when it comes to that. But I had a good time. You know what I mean? A lot of people were like, "Oh, you celebrate holidays." I'm way past all that. So whoever even comes out talking about, oh, the holidays and, you know, there's pagan holidays, I mean, literally, you're like a few grades behind me. You need to, like, catch up a little bit, because I'm not into that no more. And, you know, the point of this shit is to evolve and literally get past all this shit, okay? Because it goes way beyond all this, way beyond this. Now, I'm going through my YouTube thing. I keep up with the Rogue Titan, but he hasn't uploaded a video, but he happened to put some stuff under his community section, and he shares a few videos there. All right, very interesting stuff. It has to do with quantum mechanics. There's what the hell is it called? It's I'll tell you right now. I'm gonna put the link in the description so you could check it out. But the anthropic principle. All right, it's basically has to do with the observer and all that. I'm not gonna go into the science of it because I'm not gonna sit here and talk all scientific and whatnot. I'm gonna make it real simple as to why I'm even inspired to make this video. But just the fact that you observe something, you collapse it into existence. Like whenever you see things that happen with, like, you know, let's say Donald Trump, all right? You notice how there's a big shift. Conscious community, all these things are growing exponentially. It's the new hot thing to be, you know, in, all right? It's the new hot thing to talk about, where people don't even know what they're saying, but they're going to talk about it anyway because it's the new thing. All information is a diet, basically. And it's going to cater to a certain, a certain group of people, a certain crowd. And you can kind of see where the collective are by knowing where the collective is going. To such channels such as, and I don't give a fuck, I'm going to mention names, but such as Jay Dreamers, where he's talking about the plasma apocalypse and the end of days and all that. Everybody is always waiting for something. It's the same thing where people are in this religious mindset. Something is going to happen and you have to be prepared and stuff like that, right? See, the way I look at it is, what state of being are you in right now? Because I've made a video where, you know, what is the purpose of life? And I talked about learning or knowing how to die, okay? Because that's just going into unknown territory. But it's not just dying, because anybody could just say, oh, I'm tired of this life, and then go kill themselves, and they think that they're doing something where they're escaping this, you want to call it prison planet, or the prison, you know, cell that we're in, all right? But you see, the thing is that if you go kill yourself, what state of being were you in when you went to go kill yourself? You get what I'm saying? See, you want to die gracefully. You want to die peacefully, maybe in your sleep. You get what I'm saying? But you want to die where you're at the right state of being, where you literally say, I've made it. Because, see, a lot of people, they live this life, living the American dream, so-called, then they retire, and then they go into a depression, they get old, everybody starts to leave them, right? And they start to feel lonely, right? When in actuality, okay, if anything, you should be, even the older you get, the wiser you get, the better you get, okay? And then you should be actually happy that you're getting closer, all right, to ending this life sentence that you have, because everybody's serving life here, all right? You're serving life, all right? And for example, if you're in jail, right, let's say you could, and it's not like some people say, oh, but what if I commit the most harshest crime ever, okay? The most harshest crime, right, would probably give you the death penalty. But you see, the word penalty, it means pain. So when you die, how did you die? You get what I'm saying? How did you die? You died, first of all, you tried to escape this in as about the most low vibrational way you could, but you also died in pain. All right? So there's a lot of ways that you can look at this and think of this. All right? But the clearest way here is really working on yourself, getting to know yourself. Now, why do I say this? Because, see, when you start to really, I'm going to post these videos underneath, which I encourage you to go watch them. But I've also seen, I haven't seen these movies, but I've seen cuts to them. There's a movie called, fuck is the name? What is the name of that movie? Okay, so it's called Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. Okay, so this movie, I happened to see it in a cut as one of the commercials that came up before my movie started. Now, this movie, for example, the guy goes inside his suitcase. I haven't seen this movie yet, but I'm going to watch it because it looks really good. He goes inside his suitcase. But the funny thing is that, let's say he's getting he's in an airport and he's trying to come into New York. All right. But when the guy opens up his suitcase, it's just a simple suitcase with clothing, but only one piece of clothing, a magnifying glass, a booklet, which is a pamphlet of the city, which is a map of the city. And I believe that was it. I didn't see any passport. What would be his passport? His passport is the vessel that he's traveling in, right? But notice this fantastic thing that I actually came to realize while I was looking at this. He goes inside his suitcase and he's in another world. He's like it's like a universe that he went into, right? But just by opening it and having an observer look at it, because he had to set the setting for that, but I mean, just by the other guy opening up his suitcase, it was just a simple suitcase, right? Now, this kind of looked at the same way when you go within yourself. But the funny thing here is this. We have this illusion of separation out here, okay? Where, you know, everything seems to be separated. But in actuality, really, everything is just connected. Now, the human body, for example, when you go and study these organs, all right, there's so many different sections of your body with these crazy, crazy long names, keeping you real busy into remembering what these names are. Because, you see, we call these fingers, but if you want to look at them and talk about them in a scientific way, they're called phalanges, all right? The hands are called carpals. The arms, they're called brachiums. Do you get what I'm saying? And I know this because I took massage therapy when I was in New York. Before I moved out here, I took a course in massage therapy at the Swedish Institute. Now, the funny thing here is this, all right? We have all these crazy long names, these intricate parts of the body, but you will never see the inside of your body physically. You will never see the inside of your body, all right? But when you go within, right, you're in the universe. You're like inside. I mean, it's not going to look like what you would look like if you dissect the body. You know what I'm saying? So we have a collective belief as to what these organs look like. How do you know your heart looks like a heart that when you open up a body, it looks like that? It's the same way when, like, the Never-Ending Story, right? If I talk about the Never-Ending Story, if you've never seen that movie, I would definitely recommend you go watch that movie. But you open it, it's just a simple book, right? But when he goes into his room and opens the book, he goes into that world. You get what I'm saying? So this, you open up the body, it's just all these organs all scattered around. You would just think this is just a simple body, but it's not that. When it's closed up and you go within, it's another universe. You're in your world. Like, you're in your world. You get what I'm saying? And you have multiple universes, which you could pretty much say these are all the people outside of you, however you want to tie it in, all right? See, this is the thing. I want you to look at these videos and make your observations, because if you look at the word observer, all right, observer basically means you're observing something. You're just observing it, right? But then you can be a spectator, right? The spectator is basically, you see, if you're a spectator, you're spectating something, and it may be spectacular to you because you see the beauty in what you're observing through your eyes. Because that's why they say beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Okay? So you're basically looking at everything outside of you, all right? And everything outside of you looks a certain way. But it is all just, however, closely related to human would be considered normal to you. Which is why when you watch movies, it's kind of like a programming where you see all these monsters, and if they're malevolent, then that gets programmed in you. And then when you experience these things within you, you start to get scared for that reason. Okay? Now, things, when they're spectacular, they're visually striking. You're receiving something, but when you receive something, it could actually, receive could be a deception, the deceive. Deception, reception, receive. I mean, you could kind of use the language if you want to start tying all these things in. But see, when you are, let's say if something happens, there's a crime that happens, you're going to have spectators now circling around, right? See, a spectator is, if you look up the word spectator, is said to be somebody who's observing, right? What does an observer do? An observer just looks at something from a neutral standpoint of view. Now, if you want to eliminate the vowels out of your words and start to see what words really mean the same thing, because words are just sounds. You know what I mean? They're just sounds. I mean, it's basically whatever you want it to be. Tones. If I say something in a certain tone, you're going to take it a certain way, because it's not what the word is. It's basically my tone, how I am projecting the frequency to you. Okay? So, as an observer observes something, right? You got spectators, right? A spectator said one that observes but takes notes or takes notice of something, right? But when you take notice of something, that's why the presidential shit, you've got more spectators now taking notice because of Donald Trump. Because all these conscious people waking up are now saying, oh, the government this and that. And now what's happening is that they use the same shit, all right, that you're fighting against you. Because now what happens is that, like, they'll start talking about certain stupid topics about, you know, lights out and all these conspiracy theory topics, okay? Getting you off where you're supposed to have your focus, which is you evolving as much as you can every day to get your vibration as high as possible to put you at the state of being that you want to be in. But it takes time and work because of the fact of the years of programming that you went through to be at the point that you're at right now. All right? So I don't even look at the fact that I even have a heart, a stomach, a liver, a kidney, whatever it may be. Whatever it may be, it is just all inside of me as one thing. Okay? Because a lot of people wanna say, oh, you know, I'm gonna take this food because this is good for my liver. I'm gonna take this because it's good for my kidneys. I'm gonna take this. No, everything you take is gonna have an effect on your entire body. Okay? I Googled, what is the largest organ in your body? The skin. And what is the smallest? Your pineal gland. So your skin being the largest one is the most visually striking to an observer because it's what they can see. And this is what you'll correlate to me being, whatever you can physically see. Okay? So now, if you want to, you know, say the pineal gland is the smallest one, it's the smallest one, but it's inside of you and you're never going to visually see it. Right? Can you visually see your eye unless you have a mirror though? Right? But then again, that would be a physical way of doing something where somebody else could even see you and it is still you. Yeah, you're an individual, okay, having your experience, but it is still one collective. All right? And all info is diet, okay? Information is diet. Now, food and drug is in the same category. Food and drug, okay? When you eat food, sometimes we eat food mindlessly, okay? And if we're eating food, and by the way, shout out to Crumb TV because he made a video on, you know, why you smell. I've made a few videos on, you know, why you smell bad. You know what I mean? Depending on the food you eat, because you are what you eat. You know, those things, I like topics like that. Not to put food above you, but in actuality are things that have a chemistry. Everything has a chemistry to it. But all food is diet. Sometimes we take food in like we do these drugs such as cigarettes, alcohol, where we just take them, but we do them mindlessly. We have no purpose to why we're even doing them. We're just feeding the addiction to the vessel that we are basically associating ourselves with, rather than consciously taking something into your body, which is your altar, to alter your reality, right? Because your body is your altar, okay? But if you alter your realities because you use your altar, you can have a physical representation of what your altar looks like. But in actuality, you want to be able to always come out and be at this position always. This is your super positioning, okay? So, yeah, if I was to cut my body open, you'll see the organs. That's what you can visually observe as a spectator, okay? But when you're not seeing it, there's a hell of a lot more going on, and the possibilities are limitless and endless. So you don't know what is inside. You're not supposed to cut the human body, okay, and make an observation and come to a conclusion as to what each thing is, and then tie it into what outside of you need to aid or assist in what you just observed. That's something to think about. You hear what I'm saying? So, life is meant to be decoded because everything is encoded. Okay? Everything is encoded. So, once you start to live your life where you're trying to decode shit, life becomes very, very, very interesting. Very interesting. Think about why you do what you do, including even making videos. Right? Is it coming from a heart space, or is it coming from, let me come out with the next fire topic? Okay? Because I've been in that boat. I've been in the boat where I'm like, yo, am I going to be, you know, I just made a fucking great video, but can I make another really good video? Like, can I be consistent? But in actuality, it's just, you know, start to measure sounds and perceptions, temperature, whatever it may be, temperaments, energies, and you'll start to measure when, you know, you can utilize these things. See, I had a pretty busy couple of weeks because I had family members over, and I'll talk about that. But I'm going to make a couple of videos where I'm going to definitely talk about that, because there's a lot of educational shit that I can really share with you on that. And then also as far as to decoding the movie The Karate Kid, which, man, I'll tell you right now, this is one of my top 3 favorite movies. It always has been one of my favorite movies, but this time it really just did wonders for me because I saw it through different lenses. You get what I'm saying? And the same way we see our organs, if the body was cut open, you got to see beyond that. You're only seeing through a lens. Okay? Through a lens. Alright? Alright? Sometimes you see they live. Alright? They were able to see things because they had this on. When they took it off, they couldn't see anymore, right? But when they put it on, they can see. See, us, we're walking around, alright? Where we really gotta like break and dissolve it. You know what I'm saying? Like, here's the thing that's also pretty interesting. I saw the movie Ready Player One. All right, and if you look at Ready Player One, all right, everybody, if you look at this since the beginning of the movie, where everybody's racing to acquire that first key, right? And then the kid realized that to acquire the first key, you would have to just go backwards. All right. So everybody's always trying to acquire something outside of themselves, when in actuality, all you need to do is really just reverse that energy full speed within. And you're going to start to realize things, because it's not about, you know, revealing anything outside of you. It's more of like going into things with a knowing. You know how you know you're on the right track? Because I've been listening to certain individuals such as like, you know, Brother Panic, and I'm very glad I went to that lecture when he came over here to my state, because it really got me into wanting to check out his work and looking and checking and reviewing his work, man. One thing I've realized, if the message is not empowering, why the fuck are you going to listen to it? You know what I'm saying? And sometimes it don't even have to be the kumbaya messages that you would hear from these spiritual people, these community. They're talking garbage, a bunch of shit. They're just catering to a certain public to get views. Okay? If you hear somebody and they're talking in a negative way, you can extract a fucking shitload of jewels as well. I'm telling you. So, coming down to a conclusion by what you observed is basically the... I don't even know how much more, because it really is sometimes a little bit hard to explain. It's one of those things you really have to just experience it for yourself. There's going to be times where, you know, you can do certain things. For example, stare at yourself in a mirror for a long enough period of time, it don't even feel right anymore. It feels like something else is actually looking at you. You get what I'm saying? And you'll actually start to see even separations between what is you and this vessel actually acting out on its own. There's certain things that this vessel does outside of my control sometimes, like certain twitches, certain chills I may feel. The fear ain't really coming from what you really are. It's coming from the ego.